Welcome back to Might Be Manic, where we spiral, but we spiral cute. This is for the disruptors, the ones who say, I said what I said and I meant what I meant. For the ones who don't stutter when they speak and back that energy up every single time. If that's you, welcome. This is your ministry and welcome home. So let's go ahead and get started. Before we do, I wanted to let you guys know that in each episode, I have left Easter eggs. So these are little keywords that I've placed in every episode. You'll hear the word one time and one time only. It'll be just randomly somewhere in the middle of everything going on. And you'll know I've said the word because afterwards you'll hear some type of audio that kind of doesn't belong, just to kind of give you a warning that it's been said. It will not be repeated. There is one word in each episode, except for the ones that have two parts. There will only be one word in either part. So if it's a two-part and it's a Sunday night episode, there will only be a word in one part of it. And I can't guarantee if it's the first or second or whatever, so you're going to have to pay attention. If you get all these words right and you send me all 10 words on November 30th on our 11th episode called Would You Fumble the Bag? At that time, you'll email them to me at mightbemanicthepodcast@gmail.com. On our finale episode, I'll be live streaming and I will draw names from anyone who got all 10 words correct. Your name will be put into a drawing for the Icon Season 1 award. There's 3 prizes. You can either win first place, $100, second, $75, and third, $50 e-gift card for one store. You can win one time and the card will be sent right away at that moment. So if you'd like to win some money before Christmas, go ahead and listen for those keywords, and I can't wait to see who our Season 1 icons will be.
If you've ever wanted to say what you really think without worrying who's listening, this is your sign. Welcome to Private Calls with Mac at 3 a.m. No face, no filters, just truth. You won't know the questions in advance. You just have to be brave enough to answer them deeply. It's your time to speak from the heart, without a mask, without a name. Guests are chosen on a case-by-case basis, and you must be 25 or older. You'll sign a release, and if you expose your identity before, during, or after recording, the episode disappears. Instantly, no exceptions. This is your chance to be heard without being seen. If that sounds like freedom to you, message me. Maybe you'll be my next secret saint. Just remember, there are no saints after 3 a.m.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead with our life updates. We only have one bestie update today, and that's from just the letter K. K bought a house, so congratulations to them. That's a major, major shift in energy, and you should be very proud of yourself. Gosh, it's so difficult to do, man. Oh, I mean, happy for you. Congratulations. That's so awesome. What we have for today, such an amazing thing. It builds generational wealth. It gives you a huge asset, and man, it gives you a place that's yours. So congratulations. For myself, lately, I've been letting myself go through the rough stuff. I've been letting myself feel everything. No painkiller here, just going through it. And I've been crying in real time. So I've been not hiding it behind productivity or pretending I'm fine. I feel like I'm in that in-between, like caterpillar to butterfly, cocoon to clarity vibe. It's messy and it's magic. And, healing isn't always clean girl aesthetic. Sometimes it's a messy room and Taco Bell wrappers all over the place, and maybe not all over the place. With Taco Bell wrappers and his pajamas in the middle of the day, whatever. Maybe it's sweatpants to the store because you just don't give a crap. Okay, whatever. So I'm learning to stretch without snapping and to balance everything, in a season where both my kids need me more than ever. They're both at ages where they need me a lot in different ways. And so I'm proud of the version of me that keeps showing up and doing what I can. So we don't have a sponsor this week, but I want to shout out to all the Black entrepreneurs and creatives in Central Oregon. I was talking to someone tonight about how there's so many of us out here doing our things individually and quietly building and branding and making noise that the city can't ignore forever. So individually, we're Spark. To every Black creative, stylist, artist, designer, writer, healer, or business owner and band, we do see you. And if you want to connect and collaborate or get featured, go ahead and email mightbemanicthepodcast@gmail.com. Okay? So let's make the circle even stronger. Now let's move on. So let's talk about 3 a.m. because I have that 3 a.m. private calls with Mac, and I had someone ask me earlier if I knew the significance of 3 a.m., and I most certainly do. So spiritually, it's the hour between worlds when the veil thins and your intuition finally gets service. So Carl Jung, who, I talk about pretty much every episode because it's paramount to my character development, he would call it the unconscious rising. I call it the universe's "Are you up?" text, the WYD, what you doing? 3 a.m. Hopefully you're not getting that text, girlfriend. Shoot! Not me. Biologically, your cortisol is low at that time, and your body temperature dips, and so your soul takes roll call. Okay? Follow me? That's why you wake up thinking about that person or that decision because 3 a.m. is where truth hits atmosphere. The veil is particularly thin and downloads are able to access. And so it's not insomnia, it's initiation. And that is the reason why 3 a.m. is a very significant time. Let's talk about 5 traits since it is Scorpio season and I love me some Scorps. Yeah. So let's talk about 5 misunderstood Scorpio traits because I've always had a Scorpio in my life, like literally always. And they keep me grounded and level. But a lot of people are, I think, scared of Scorpios. And so let's talk about 5 traits that I think they're often very misunderstood on. Number 1, intensity is not anger. Scorpios feel very deeply and they see clearly. And they read energy like fine print. It's not rage, it's radar. Number 2, control isn't power hunger, it's protection. If you want something done right, do it yourself. And I think that's a water sign thing. Like, I'm not going to ask someone to do something for me that I can do because I know I can do it better. It's just how I feel. I'm an expert on my own life. And why put off for tomorrow what can be done today? Let's do it right now. You know what I'm saying? It's protection. They've learned that chaos can leave craters and they don't rebuild twice. Okay? They don't want to do reruns. Number 3, privacy isn't secrecy. They're not hiding, they're refining, they're charging. Vulnerability is sacred and it's currency, and they're not giving that to everybody. Why would you think you get that? A Scorpio will open up to me any day, baby, because I'm a Pisces. They know there's no judgment here. I get that. Ooh, number 4, obsession isn't insanity. It's devotion turned scientific, okay? If you don't want to be loved for real, don't be messing with no Scorpio. When they love, they orbit you like a meteor, okay? Fast, fiery, and unforgettable. Number 5, attachment after betrayal is not cruelty, it's closure in motion, and that's your own gift. If it's over and they leave you alone, they're doing you a favor because they don't have to do that. You probably did them wrong because if you make a Scorpio leave, you got to do a lot. Sometimes Scorpios can be gluttons for punishment, and so that's what happens. You should be sorry. You should be glad if they just walk off. Galactic. So let's go ahead and get into our daily deep dive. Stop saying sorry. I'm not sorry. I was talking to my friends about this earlier, and I was like, I stopped apologizing for things because at the end of the day, I'm not dumb. I'm intelligent. I overanalyze everything I do. I thought about every outcome. I think about everything before I act. Always. I'm a Pisces. I hate surprises. This is my movie and I'm directing it. There are no surprises. If there's a surprise, it's betrayal. I hate being lied to. I hate surprises. And it's very nearly impossible to surprise me because I notice everything. If you're not a Pisces, you just really couldn't get it. When people say Pisces are intuitive, it's way more than you can imagine. I know everything that's going on around me. I do, and I know what people are thinking, and I know what their motives are. I watch and I pay attention. So I've never done something on accident. So when I was a kid, my mom would say, you need to apologize, and you just stand in the corner till you apologize. I would get a pillow and blanket, and I would stay there for days because I'm not saying sorry. I did what I did because I meant that. Now, can I make mistakes as a human? Of course. But I don't do things on accident. I'm not an idiot. I'm not a fuddy-duddy. I know what I'm doing, okay? So we're going to talk about I'm not sorry. Let's go. Let's talk about the shrink spell, first of all, okay? So stop calling it humble when it's really hiding. You learn to tuck away your light because someone once told you it was too bright to be safe. For who? For them, it's too bright and it's showing their insecurities. Turn that light down. They don't want to see all that. You were praised for being quiet, not confident. Millennials, we were told to be seen and not heard. Wallflowers, perfect children that were never, ever heard. You were supposed to be quiet, not confident. For being nice, that's what you will get praised for, but not for being necessary. Nice doesn't always get the job done. See, I hate when people say, you're such a nice girl, Mackenzie. I don't think anyone would say that. I'm a good person. I'm not a nice person. I will do what's good. But am I always going to do what's nice? Absolutely not. Because that's not self-serving in any way. And at the end of the day, if I don't get what I need here on this planet, who's going to read my mind and get it for me? No. Girl, bye. So the world teaches women to make, especially women, to mistake invisibility for virtue, to call it balance when it's really bondage. But humility without self-worth is just disguised shame, okay? Every time you silence yourself to keep someone comfortable, you reinforce that lie that your power is dangerous. I remember there was a time when I got in big trouble, right? And I had walked into this government office and the lady was like, don't close the door with me in there with her. And I said, with me? And she said, yeah. And I said, why? She said, you're a very formidable figure, Mackenzie. She said, you come in here, said, you say these big words and you throw your weight around. trying to intimidate me. And I said, oh no, I just talk like this, but now I know you're scared of me. My big words, nothing about me being aggressive or angry or mean, but I'm going to throw big words around, throw my weight around and exude my power over her. Don't reinforce that your power is dangerous, because what people hate, I've never been the type of girl that will fight. Everyone who knows me knows I will not fight. I'm not doing it. I've never been in a situation where I've really felt like I'm going to use these hands to teach you anything, because at the end of the day, I have self-respect and I am smart, and no one makes me feel like I'm less. So there's nothing that makes me feel like I need to exert my power over anyone in toxic or violent ways, because I do feel like I'm the best. So why would I be intimidated by someone who's not? We're not in the same race. You know, so I mean, I don't feel like I'm better than everybody, but am I the best? Yes, I am. Pop your like pop it. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. I'm incredible. And there's nothing wrong with thinking that, but people don't like when you know that, because they can't say that about themselves without quivering in their voice. But that's not your problem. You don't need to be sorry. You don't need to shrink. It's not dangerous. It's divinity. Stand taller, speak louder, be the volume that they can't turn down. Like Lil Wayne said, I'll walk up in the world and cut the lights off, and confidence is a stain they can't wipe off. I tell my kids that anytime they're nervous. Or what Ye said, I'm living in the future, so the present is my past. My presence is the present. Kiss. That's what I'll tell them too. Let's move on. Let's talk about the self-betrayal loop that follows, okay? Listen, you're not being accountable. You're abandoning yourself. Every time you over-apologize or explain away your boundaries, you choose survival over self-respect. Yeah, I had a situation like this happen, and I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but this happened, right? I was hanging out with somebody, and I didn't like the way she was acting. And I was like, I'm leaving. And the person would not exit my vehicle. And I was like, you need to get out right now. And they were like, why? No, what's the reason? But I told her, it doesn't matter if you think it's a valid, because I told her the reason. And she was like, yeah, that's valid. I said, it don't matter if you think it's valid or not. I follow my destiny. And if you ever get in the way of that, you're not my real friend. If I say I don't want to be somewhere, I don't care if the reason is because I don't like the temperature of the room. You don't ask me why. I don't need to explain why. Luckily, I didn't just start driving the car. But at the end of the day, she's my friend. But I almost did. You can come with me then, but I'm going to, one thing about me is when I want to go, it's time to go. And my kids have always known this, like since they were little. Like if I say I want to go, we need to be able to go now. There is no hold on, no goodbyes. No, I'm going now. Anyone that has spent a lot of time alone, they would never question my movements. You would understand because you move the same way. When I want to leave, it's time to leave. I don't need to tell you why. I don't know if I'm coming back. I don't know anything. I know right now I'm about to go. Don't over-explain yourself. This is not a popularity contest. Popular means you get spoken about a lot. It means your name gets brought up often. They don't have checks for that. You don't get paid for that, okay? Clout is dangerous. Clout is not a survival technique. Clout is not a survival tactic. Popularity is not part of the survival toolkit in any way, shape, or form. You think you're being the bigger person, but what you're really doing is shrinking into the smallest version of yourself so that they can feel more comfortable. No, because anyone that loves you wouldn't ask you to do that. No, less you to be more liked? You like me when I'm less me. I'm not sorry. You mistake peace for people-pleasing because you were raised to equate compliance with kindness. We are not, well, some of you might live with your parents. If you live with your parents, stay in a child's place, I suppose. But times are hard, I understand it. But I don't. I've been living alone since I was a senior in high school. I moved out spring break of my senior year, and I've been out since. I don't have to be compliant with anything. I pay all my own bills. I don't have to listen to anyone or anything. You're an adult now. You can say whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. You can. May there be consequences? Isn't there always? That's what got you like this, was fear of consequences. What are you afraid of? Let me tell you this. I think about this sometimes. When I think, what's the worst that can happen, right? Because sometimes I take risks, I take chances, I do. Because they're not chances, I believe in myself and I have a skill set. You got to get out of that thinking that it's a risk. It's not a risk to do something you know you're good at. Because when it comes to any situation, I don't lose, I learn. If I don't win, I'll watch someone else win and then I'll know how to do it next time. Sometimes I need to see by example, but I've never lost and I've never felt like a loser. I'm a learner. When I don't win, I'm a student. Okay? Fear of consequences is ridiculous because I'll tell you what, if you're listening to this podcast right now, every choice you've made in life, you've not died yet. Okay? So that means if there was 100 instances where you thought you were going to, 100% of the time that has not happened. 0% of the time has any consequence taken your life from you. So why statistically are you actually worried? You're making up stress. If you only have so many beats in your heart in a lifetime, you're wasting them. Because 0% of the time has any of your mistakes killed you. 0% of the time have you not been able to bounce back. The truth is, accountability without reciprocity becomes self-betrayal, and you can hold space for others without erasing yourself. You don't owe anyone comfort at the cost of your clarity. And when you stop betraying yourself, you stop attracting people who benefit from your silence. You stop attracting people who want to smother your fire. You don't owe anyone a PowerPoint presentation for your boundaries. There is power in a clean no. When I tell my kids no, and they say why, I say no is a complete sentence. And then I'll tell my kids like this, because I have sons. When they'll do something around the house, mess the house up, say something crazy to me, I'll say, okay, would you like if I date a man and I bring him in here and he treats me like you're treating me right now? If I say no and he goes, why not? No. Is that the kind of man you want to become? Because I said no. Out of respect for me, that's the end of the conversation. If I elaborate, I do. But I don't do that. I'm a Pisces. No is a sentence, not a debate. It's a sacred form of self-care. It is a defense mechanism at times. It is protection. It is a bridge that catches you when you drop. Short, complete, and holy, 2 letters, N-O, I said no. You've been taught that refusing something makes you rude. No, thank you. Smile. No. No. Nicely no. No. No is no, no matter what. Being overextended isn't generous. You're draining yourself. And every time you say yes when your soul screams no, you're watering down your energy. A clean no makes room for well-aligned and divine yeses. It's not rejection, it's redirection. It's redirection. You're just retriangulating yourself. No, that's following your destiny. People who benefit from your lack of boundaries will always call you difficult when you finally honor yourself because they're used to being put first by you. Riddle me that, girl. Let them call you difficult. I'd rather be called difficult than doormat. I'd rather be called difficult than dummy. What? I'd rather be called difficult than get betrayed. Or left in the dirt. Let them call you that. I've been called worse by better, I guarantee you. And your peace was never theirs to negotiate. Let's talk about the emotional debt trap. You can't afford to explain your worth anymore. You're not sorry. I'm not sorry. Every over-explanation is like paying emotional interest on a loan that you never took out. And you justify your feelings to people who have no intention of understanding them. That's not communication. That's performance. Where's Tyler Perry? Get her an award. Get her an award because this girl been acting through life. If you keep pretending to be something you're not, you're going to live and die without ever knowing who you really are. The need to be understood comes from old wounds, from not being heard, but not present truths. You're not there anymore. You don't have to beg for comprehension when you already carry conviction. Let misunderstanding be the toll fee for walking in your own lane, okay, to the beat of your own drum. Freedom doesn't require consensus. It requires courage. Stop explaining yourself to people who profit from your confusion and stop pretending to be confused when you read the fine print. You know what's going on. A lot of times they want women to act dumb and ditzy, and when you're like direct, because I play that sometimes. People are like, oh, I didn't know you were smart. I know that. Because I'm happy. People mistake happy for stupid. No, I know what's going on. I'm not completely delusional. I watch the news. I choose to live in alignment with this frequency because it's where I like it at. It's like I choose to be in the hot tub because the temperature's good. That's what my frequency is like. I choose to be here because it feels nice. Now, motherhood and the disappearing act that they call it, you're still a woman even though you're a mother. Let's get that clear. And somewhere along the way, you were taught that being a mom meant being a martyr. That love equals erasure. You don't have to disappear to prove devotion. Your kids don't need a perfect mom. They need a present one. And a present starts with self-recognition. They can directly correlate how successful children will be as an adult based on how happy of a mother they have as a child. If you're pretending and people-pleasing, that's not true happiness, and kids are very intuitive and they pick up on it. They're not all jaded like we are. You can smile, and your kids can know you're not happy. When you stick up for yourself, the more you say no, the happier you'll become. So while they might not want to hear you say no, they're going to see in turn you glowing and becoming happier. They get a happier mother, they'll forget all about it. Remember, most of your childhood you don't remember. Especially the young years. Your kids are barely going to remember this, but you will. Do not let yourself get dragging through the dirt. Because you will remember this. Your childhood was hard enough. You're going to have a hard adulthood too? Is that what you're going to do? You're not selfish for wanting joy that exists outside of your children. You're still an individual. What's your name? Have you said your name to yourself in a while? I sometimes say mine to myself. I'm Mackenzie. I am mom, but I'm Mackenzie. Before that, I was Mackenzie for 19 years. I've been a mom for almost 14 years. But this isn't my identity. This is my duty. This is my commitment. Mackenzie is my name. My identity, that's silent. What you just heard right there, that's Mackenzie. That's the only way I can explain it. You're showing kids what wholeness looks like when you do that, and you're allowed to evolve, to desire, to rest. Your motherhood isn't defined by exhaustion. It's defined by example. And when you honor yourself, you raise kids who know how to honor themselves too, with boundaries. And it's good for boys and girls. Seriously. So, there's soft breakups you go through with people in your life. There's chapters and seasons, and nobody's forever. And you can outgrow people without burning them down. Not every ending needs to be explosive or finale-ish. Some just need to be honest. And you can love someone and still realize the connection has expired. They played their part, and that's it. Closure isn't always a conversation. Sometimes it's just a quiet goodbye in your spirit. Like sometimes I'll be hanging out with someone, and they'll say something, and in my mind I go, yeah, they're never going to see me again. And they don't. And it's not no beef. I got what I needed, and we're out. Or I didn't, and I realized I need to go. I don't waste time. Growth will always offend those who were committed to the old version of you, but the old one, she didn't make it. That's why you're here now. You took over. Time to play manager. And that's okay. You don't have to hate them to heal from them. Grace doesn't mean access. Loving from a distance still counts as love. Especially when the distance protects your own peace, because they always protected themselves the whole time. Well, it's about time you started to. So then you have these apology blackouts. So count how many times you said sorry today like I did earlier. And then retire one. As women, we're conditioned to use apologies as punctuation. We apologize for just existing half the time, for expressing, for exhaling too loud, for yawning, for sneezing, whatever. But constant sorry saying is a spell to say, I am sorry. Have you ever met someone you're like, what a sorry individual? You don't have to grovel because you made a mistake. You can say, please forgive me or I apologize. But you're not sorry, just like you're not a loser. Stop saying those things to your mind or it will filter out things that show you you're correct. Because we talked about the subconscious mind. And saying sorry a lot doesn't make you kind. It makes you completely invisible. Start catching yourself in the middle of it and replace it with gratitude. Instead of I'm sorry, try thank you for waiting, okay? Or I apologize for my tardiness. Replace it with truth. Instead of being sorry for being emotional, say, I'm proud that I can feel this deeply. If it makes you feel uncomfortable to witness it, you're welcome to leave. But I need to go through this right now. You're not difficult for demanding the same grace that you give. And every time you withhold an unnecessary apology, you remind your spirit that it's allowed to take up space, which it is. You're not here to shrink. You're here to shift and to grow. To grow, you need room. Tell everybody to back up and tell them you're not sorry. So let's take a deep breath. If it feels like the room is spinning, that's not vertigo, that's alignment. Because everything is shifting into place for you, bestie, and maybe even falling like, stars shooting through the sky into an orbit. It sounds a little apocalyptic, but it depends on how you look at it. It could be a light show, you find the beauty in everything. So I'm going to give you 3 gems to spiral on before I leave you for this Sunday evening. So if you agree or disagree, please feel free to email mightbemanicthepodcast@gmail.com and let me know what you think about these gems. Gem number 1. The day you stop apologizing for existing is the day your real life begins. Gem number 2, here it is. Every time you betray yourself for peace, you teach the world that your silence is cheaper than your soul. Listen, this is what I think about oftentimes when I'll see side jobs, because I take on too many things. Obviously, you guys see all the projects I do. And I'll be like, wow, $15 an hour. So I'm supposed to trade my life, hours. You're buying it for $15 before tax. Nah, I'm good. Think of it like that. And then next time you tell someone, wow, you're overcharging, you're literally buying hours of their soul. They can charge what they want to charge. Let's hear that one more time. So every time you betray yourself for peace, you teach the world that your silence is cheaper than your soul. Number 3, you were never meant to be understood by everyone, only remembered by the ones who felt you. Well, bestie, whether you're about to go shop vac your car, hang new curtains, or daydream about a romance partner that you haven't met yet, that's all I have for you this week. So So I'll see you next time. And in the meantime, keep your foot on their necks, baby girl. And for the record, I just might be.